Now, this does not mean that all conventional activities have to be stopped. Now, there is a classic case of national park, Himalayan National Park. Now, what used to happen there, the people, you can say the grazers used to bring their sheep to the park, and there they would graze the grass. Now, the government stopped it, they banned it, they said no, no grazing. Now, what happened? The fallout was that when there was no grazing, grass grew very tall and ultimately fell down, and as a result it stopped the growth of fresh grass. For fresh grass to grow, it has to be exposed to sunlight, it has to have all the natural resources. So, then everybody realized that actually some of the conventional activities have a meaning. Instead of cutting grass, the sheep were doing the work, otherwise which will require a lot of man hours and manpower. So, this is another angle, that activities should not be banned like that. So, here comes the importance of sustainable management. What is sustainable management or sustainable growth? We cannot stop moving ahead. The industrialization or the scientific advancement cannot stop. The development cannot stop. Then what can happen? That means we have to develop in a fashion that can be sustained on long term. It should not be over exploitation. And for this, it is important that all stakeholders are involved. We can't leave out one. Now, what happened in Garhwal rainy village was that people took it upon themselves to move against the cutting of trees. They took out movement against the local contractor, and they started standing against the trees, or you can say even hugging the trees to protect them, and this was called Chipko movement. This was a movement started to save their trees, and one day when men folk were not there, even the women were not left behind. They came and hugged the trees and prevented the cutting of trees. So, Chipko movement has become an historical event. There is another very interesting case of Arabari forests. In the Arabari forests, in the 70s, what happened? It started becoming a sick forest. So, there was a forest officer called A.K. Banerjee. Now, what did he do? He used you can say the ancient wisdom. What was that? He used the locals, because whenever we want to build something new, first we must understand what are the strengths or what are the good points of the existing system. So, this Mr. Banerjee did that, and he involved the locals. He said, okay, tribals, you help us in protecting our animals and plants, you guard it, and in lieu of that we will pay you. You will be able to buy food, fodder, wood, etc. at a very nominal rate. Now, once the tribals' interest got involved in maintaining the forests, the scene changed. You see, it is whatever we do in an organization, when it is your organization or their organization, then 100% involvement cannot be. When can be 100% involvement? When it is our organization. The moment the locals, the government, industrialists and the environmentalists think that it is our forest, it is our environment, why only them? All of us, unless we think it is our environment, we will not be able to solve this problem. It is not anybody else's environment. These natural resources are not anybody else's, and it does not matter whether you can afford it or not. The important thing is that what are we handing over to our next generation. So, this great effort of Mr. Banerjee resulted that by in 80s, yes, in 80s it was worth crores, about 12 crores, that forest's value became that much. So, it is good to make something new, but it is better if we can repair, or if we can revive whatever is already existing. You can't keep building new things. You can't create a new world all over. This world is beautiful. Let's revive it.